morning. Good morning. Good morning. There we go. Here we are. This microphone's a little wonky. Here we go. Y'all make sure my audio is good. Everything's straight. I appreciate y'all joining me this morning. I am by myself currently. Christian is running a little late this morning. Now, originally the thought process was going to be me by myself regardless. That's what I thought the show was going to be, because we were originally supposed to have no show today. But obviously, since we missed on Wednesday, I wanted to make sure y'all got all the content this week. And since the weather got in the way on Wednesday, I decided we'll be up and rolling today. Christian said that he was going to be able to make it, and he still says that he's going to show up. But I guess we'll just have to see if that comes to fruition or not. Appreciate you guys joining us this morning. Appreciate all the love and support y'all have shown this week. It's been a really huge week for us over here, and y'all have been a masterful part in making it successful. Sabrion should have had Eads come back in with you. I thought so. We had already scheduled him out twice this week. I didn't want to make him come in too many times. And he is going to be heading out of town for a wedding, like he said. He's got to miss the series this weekend. He's a little upset about that. So I was going to let him get his work in, let him grieve as he heads to his wedding. But I appreciate you guys being in here with me. Christian still says he's going to show up. He said, let's see, he texted me at 6:22 this morning. Going to be 20 late. And then he specified minutes. And then I was like, really? I thought you were going to say 20 hours. And then he said, all right, pal. So at 6:22, he says he's going to be 20 minutes late. So we'll see if that comes to fruition or not, or if he even shows up. He says he's driving from Mandeville this morning. So I figured when he texted me that last night that it might be a stretch for him to get in here on time this morning. But we're still up and rolling. Glimmer, we at 10,000 yet? No, sir. We are at 9,046 is the current tally for the Tingle & Co. YouTube channel. I am going to drop that link back in the chat this morning, so that we can have as many people join it as possible. But yeah, we should definitely hound Christian once he gets here. When he pulls up, we'll take a break, we'll reset, and then I'll let you guys just have at him. Just throw him to the alligators. Just get in there and handle business. But the headlines for today, obviously, we'll start with the biggest headline of them all: LSU versus Arkansas tonight. That series gets rolling as the Hogs are headed to Alex Box Stadium. One of the best teams in the country, like we've said all week. They will be in Alex Box to get the series rolling tonight at 6:30, I believe. It's game number one. I believe it's 6:30, 5:30. Let me see. I pulled this up here. Yep, 6:30 tonight, 5:30 tomorrow, 3 p.m. on Sunday. Obviously, we'll see what the weather does. I have not checked it as of late. When we looked at it yesterday, I did not have high hopes for it, as it's spring. It's raining already, and it looks like it's going to be raining all day. And then into tomorrow as well. So we'll see what the weather does and what LSU decides to do. But like I said, 6:30 p.m. tonight, LSU versus Arkansas, game number one. LSU is number 3 in the D1 baseball rankings. Arkansas is number 7 in D1 baseball rankings, but they're number 1 in the NCBWA. LSU number 3 there. USA Today 4-2. Baseball America 6-3. So two of the best teams in the country. I think that can be said without a doubt, as Arkansas will be in Alex Box tonight. It'll be streamed on SEC Network Plus tonight, and then tomorrow it'll be on just SEC Network. The pitching matchups, Cade Anderson versus Zach Root tonight. That's two really good lefties, both with a sub-4 ERA, 6 wins on the year. Cade Anderson has pitched about 4 2/3 more innings. And the strikeout numbers, Anderson 114, Root 92. So the two aces going at it tonight, which is what is expected to be a pitcher's duel similar to what we've seen the last couple of weekends. And then tomorrow, Anthony Ianson, Gage Wood, another really good matchup. Even though Wood's numbers don't exactly have that to show. I mean, he's only pitched 14 and a third innings, only 28 strikeouts. The ERA is 3.77. Next to Anthony Ianson, it doesn't look like much because Ianson's got a 3.16 ERA, 68 and a third pitched, and 105 strikeouts. Wolfgang at Noah, over under based on weather. Is it a go or not? I have no idea. I mean, I would assume if the weather's going to be a factor, it'll be kind of slow played, would be my guess. Jay Johnson's going to see how close they can get to game time before they have to make that decision to postpone the game or something like that. I don't foresee them bumping the game up today because it seems like the weather is going to be pretty bad all day, so I really would be surprised if it's a case of moving the time up from 6:30 because it looks like you've got a 50% chance or higher all the way up to 5 p.m. according to my my Apple Weather app. So there's going to be some weather all day. But Jay Johnson discussed it in his press conference yesterday as he met with the media. We do have the clips there. So Christian did do something. He cut up the Jay Johnson presser from yesterday, and he got that put in there for me so I could have that ready to go today. So that'll help me get through this first hour this morning, as we'll hear, as we heard from the head coach yesterday, and we'll hear from him today with some of those clips. And as we're talking about the weather, we'll just go straight to that clip of him discussing the weather for this week. All right, give me 1 second so I can make sure I got the audio straight. But yeah, I mean, he addressed the weather and discussed what the situation was going to be there, and I just have to make sure that I have audio going for his clips. If not, then we're just gonna have to keep on rolling. Obviously, this is not my my deal. Let me make sure we got that going there. And we're going to see which one is Jay talks about the weather. Still nothing. All right.
A little bit ago, 4 people. Mark Lee.
There he is.
Gaston. It is. We had a meeting a little bit ago with 4 people. Mark Lee, Dan Gaston, Jordan Billingsley, who's our ground guy, and Matt Montgomery. That they're on it. Like they're on it. So there's my underground weather sources that I always refer to. There's not really a lot of clarity. Like I listened to them, and it was like, okay, so when are we getting these games in? But hey, man, we've been pretty good at 1 a.m. So, we'll. I don't think the SEC allows you to start after 10 p.m. if I'm not mistaken on that. But
so no discussion yet about moving anything.
Right now, we're not moving anything yet. Now, could that change? Probably. But it has not to this. We left that meeting as right now we're as is, and then reconvene later today.
What's the earliest you can start? What do you allow?
I don't know. I probably would say we wouldn't do 10 a.m. I wouldn't do before 10 a.m. if that was ever a scenario. In my small time with you all, Louisiana people tend to be night people, it seems like. So I think that's probably more realistic.
What is is there a cutoff Sunday? Like when you can start or play defense?
I think it's before 10 again. Like you have to get it off before 10 p.m. If I'm not mistaken. The ancillary rules I usually leave to our administrators, to try to focus on the baseball, and hopefully that would make everybody that cares about the Tigers happy. But hey, our ability to get all these games in, other than Tuesday to this point, has been phenomenal. With the weather the way that it's been. The good news is it's been good for our team too, because you get into the postseason, and whether it's here or it's Omaha, it tends to happen. And so we'll have been through it with 16 games adjusted due to weather so far this year.
Beautiful. Good job, you guys, helping me out there, getting the audio straight. Sorry about the echo, but because if I'm gonna be completely honest, I have never been trained on this system. When we had the old system at the first studio in the UDL, I was trained on that because I had to sub in for Lloyd. I've never really been trained on this one. So I'm really kind of freestyling. So I appreciate you guys helping me out. But you heard the man. I mean, he broke down kind of the way they dissect the weather situation and what it'll look like today as they try and decide what's best for the Tigers and the way that they're going to handle the weather. So I'm not exactly sure what they'll end up deciding, but I think the number he said at the end was 16 games have been affected by the weather so far this season, which is just absolutely unbelievable. Like, so crazy how this season has just kind of played out, where it seems like weekend after weekend we're having to sit here, like I'm sitting here talking to this microphone about the weather again. And obviously that will be a concern this weekend. We'll see what it looks like today. I don't have high hopes for what it'll be. If I had to guess the way they'll move it, I know they talked a little bit about what it would look like if they bumped it up, what the timing is there. My guess would be it would have to be moved back because it seems like the weather is pretty bad throughout the day. It's going to be pretty rainy. But, I mean, I guess once the lightning stops, looks like lightning will stop at around 4, according to my app. Now, I'm not a meteorologist. I'm just looking at the pictures on the app. So y'all can do really the same thing I'm doing right now, but just for discussion's sake, the little picture on the app has got lightning until 4 p.m. So hopefully if the lightning clears out, they'll be good to rock and roll, and you just play in a little bit of rain. But I'm not exactly sure what it'll end up shaking out to be. My hope is they'll play baseball tonight because I'm ready to get this series rolling. I've seen some of the content Arkansas's put out regardless. I know one of the clips that I put out was from the Texas week. Regardless, the quote they said was they got to go through us. And from all the content I've seen Arkansas baseball put out, it seems like they are ready to go in this series, and it's going to be big-time stuff. When you looked at the schedule prior to the season, I've said it all week, you circled 2 series. Tennessee at home, Arkansas at home. Those were the 2 where it was like, okay, this is the 2 series that cannot be missed if I'm a fan. But really just on TV, if I'm a fan of college baseball, these are 2 big-time series. And LSU handled business against Tennessee with a little bit of magic. They've got a chance to go 2 for 2 in those series this weekend against Arkansas. A little bit about the series tonight. LSU is tied for 3rd place in the league standings with Georgia with a 15-9 record. Arkansas sitting in 2nd at 17-7, while Texas is in 1st, 19-5. So there's potential for LSU to backdoor their way all the way into 1st, but really this weekend it looks like Arkansas is playing for an opportunity to be the number 1 team in the conference. And really, in my opinion, whoever wins this weekend probably gets the title of number 1 team in the country, the best team in the country. And because these are 2 of the best getting after it today. That's a good one, Glimmer. I just opened the chat back up. That's really good. But it will be a lot of things on the line. LSU potentially can backdoor into number 1, but I just don't think that would happen. Arkansas 100% has a chance after they swept Texas last weekend to be the top team in the conference, and that's what they'll be playing for. They'll be playing for that number 1 seed going into the SEC tournament. And both of these teams are looking to finish strong to lock up a top 8 national seed in the country. And right now, in my opinion, and I was talking about it, I do a weekly radio hit with a station in North Louisiana, Sports Talk 97.7 with Sean Fox. Shout out to him. He has me on every week, and one of the questions he asked was just like the number of wins. When we're talking about the top 8 national seed, what's the goal? And I was like, these past 2 weekends, it's going to be win 4 out of 6. However you do that, because there's multiple, you go 2 out of 3 this weekend, 2 out of 3 next weekend. 1 out of 3 this weekend, sweep next weekend, which, oh my word, I wish I had. Let me whip this camera around because a child just walked into the building. So we'll get back to the discussion in just a second. We'll do a quick break. Sorry to cut it off. We'll do a quick break as Christian just walked in. He said 20 minutes late. Excuse the picture of my dog. 7:20. He's 20 minutes late. So good job, Christian. Way to understand your time. We'll be right back after this.
That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
All right, we're back. Christian is behind the dish. I'm back in my much more comfortable seat compared to the chair back there. But I appreciate you guys bearing with me this morning. Christian, if you hit that TV right quick so I can see my own face. I'm trying to get the chat pulled up right now so I can communicate with all you guys. But I appreciate y'all bearing with me as I was rolling Han Solo this morning, taking care of business by myself. Christian has officially shown up to join me as we preview LSU versus Arkansas tonight. The Jay Johnson clips should be already uploaded in there, Christian. I already did the weather when we talked about that a little bit. So, Christian, go ahead and flip the camera to yourself. I want everyone in the chat to just berate this man and bash him and let him have it. Let him hear all of the terrible things you want to say to this child as he showed up late.
Wow, the mic's a bit tall right now.
Yeah, I had to bump it up for myself.
Yeah. There we go.
There you
It's
go.
more my height there.
There you go.
Nice.
Andrew Messina, where is Christian going to be all summer? Christian's got a job, an actual, true paying position,
Yep.
as opposed to this one he does for fun and handshakes. Here on the and to be bashed by the chat. He heads out to today's your last day here?
Yeah.
And then you'll be
Well, right now, yeah. I could be here Monday maybe. I wouldn't count on it. Just depends on when we start.
interesting.
I think I get started on Monday though. It's a little unorganized on their end, so we'll see.
So very, very possibly could be Christian's last day here with us for the summer. We'll see if he pops in and out here and there.
I'll be here for some watch parties. I'm 5 days a week though.
Yep. Yeah. So he'll be
watch
back for the
parties and
evening
baseball.
stuff.
Yeah. I'll be
Anything
able to
going
make it
on
in.
later in the days. But obviously we're not going to stop the young man from going and taking care of business over the summer. But we'll be ready to have him back in August, I think. You have done a great job in your final week.
Thank you.
You got a promotion right before you left.
I did.
And you've taken care of business, so thank you there. I appreciate as much as you did show up late today. I'll give you a little bit of grace because you weren't supposed to be here today.
Yep.
It was supposed to be your day off, but you decided to show up anyway. So good job this week, Christian. You're doing mic'd up today?
I am. And Hunter Hall says, Christian, let's see the line at 69 for my final today. I actually need a 65 to keep an A in the class.
There you go.
So I studied for like an hour last night, and I was like, hold on, let me check my final grade, like what I need.
Right.
And I pretty much wasted that hour last night. I could have went to bed earlier.
Really?
Because I need a 65, and I mean, I could guess my way to a 65. So
You think so? You're that
yeah.
confident?
A
What class
65?
is this?
Yeah, Spanish.
Oh.
So there's gonna be
Well,
some
good.
obvious ones, and then some. I
Right.
guess.
There's going to be some layups. There's going to be some layups for sure. But I tell you what, that Spanish final, it's kind of tough.
Yeah.
I remember whenever I took it, and I'm actually relatively good at Spanish. And I went in there and sat down, and I was like, "Oh gosh,
Yeah.
it was it was tough." But best of luck to you today. We appreciate you guys. Like I said, LSU versus Arkansas. We'll get back to the discussion. Where was I at reading here? I was talking about the matchup tonight. I mean, this is a game where Arkansas is willing and desiring to go get that number 1 seed in the SEC. And the way they do that is by taking care of business tonight against LSU. If they win the weekend, they'll be in a really good spot to maybe jump Texas in that first spot, or put themselves in the position to do it over the next 2 weekends. LSU is currently number 2 in the SEC in team batting average, number 2 in the league in hits, number 2 in doubles, number 3 in on-base percentage, number 4 in runs scored. And when you think about all those numbers and all those rankings, you would assume that this is going to be an offensive matchup, an offensive juggernaut, and it's just not right now. And that's where my concern lies going into tonight, is this LSU offense has got to wake up. Like, it has to happen tonight, really. Like, I mean, if you want a chance to win the series, you need to go out and take game 1. You cannot lose with Cade Anderson on the mound, and it's going to be tough to do that if the bats don't wake up. I feel like Wolfgang, the hitting has to be more consistent, and in the clutch moments, like runners in scoring position, first versus just solo hits with nobody on. Yeah, they have to string things together. And I think I was talking about the radio hit I was doing with Sean Fox from 97.7 up in North Louisiana, and he asked me, about what LSU's looking for. I was like, 4 out of 6. I was like, but on top of that, it's like they need to get the bats moving. And the way for LSU to find success in this series, and where I think they've really struggled, is getting starters out of the game, or not. They're not driving pitch counts up, especially away from home. Now, the good thing is you don't have to worry about that this weekend because you'll be at home. But, I mean, I think back to Game 1 versus Tennessee, and it took you forever to get Doyle out of that game. Now, luckily, you have Cade Anderson, but you've got to start driving that pitch count up on these starting pitchers for the opposing team to get your offense some sort of rhythm. They're allowing the starter to get into the 7th inning, get into the 6th, 7th, 8th, and the offense isn't getting any rhythm then, and so you really want to get to the bullpen. Well, then they just go to their closer. Get this pitcher out in the 4th inning and get to Arkansas's bullpen, you have a really good chance to win. But they have to be able to string hits together and drive pitch counts up.
And set yourself up for Sunday as well. I mean,
Yeah.
if you can get the guy out early on Saturday, you're setting yourself up beautifully for Sunday because they're weaker, obviously. And Friday, same thing. Take out their best reliever on Friday. Saturday, they don't have him. Sunday, they might have him, but take him out early on Friday. It's a lot easier than what it is. Sounds a lot easier than what it is, but that's really the key to winning in the SEC right now.
Yeah, you got to get the starter off the mound, and LSU has not done a very good job doing that. Christian, if you want to play the clip of Jay talking about the offensive struggles, we'll do that one first before we get into him previewing Arkansas themselves. It should have the titles on there if you see it.
Got it.
So just go ahead and play that one of Jay talking about the LSU offense.
Well, I think there's a few things to it. I think number one, the nature of baseball, and this will be the 3rd consecutive week we're playing a team that's been ranked number 1 in the country, and you don't get there without really good pitching staffs. And I think we've seen a lot of that. I think that there's been an elevation in talent in college baseball. We're seeing more high-end guys, for instance. Ryan Prager turned down $1 million in the draft last year as a 3rd-round pick and came back to Texas A&M, and in the game against us he threw really well. Prior to that, it's Tennessee, and Doyle's going to get like $6 million, and Marcus Phillips that night was great. And that's kind of honestly just a part of the schedule that we're in right now, and so that's probably a bigger factor than anybody would point to. Now, with that being said, the competitive nature of our team, of our program, of me as a coach, we're constantly pushing to be better in a couple ways. I think, through April 10, we were number 3 in the country in hitting, and we were number 1 in swing decisions, like the best strike zone discipline team in the entire country. And when you face some of this pitching that we have, it makes that a little bit more challenging, where you don't quite impact the ball as much against them, and you don't get as many free bases against them. So we have to tighten the focus and tighten the execution of managing the zone the way that our teams do. And so I think it's partly opponent. I think it's partly that, and then the nature of baseball is hard anyways. And so if you get caught up in the past couple of bats or a past weekend, and you're facing really good competition, you're making success or execution almost impossible. And to the credit to the players, they're continuing to work incredibly hard. We had a great day yesterday, completely flipped the practice format on its head. The weather kind of dictated that a little bit too, but it was a really good day. And you're getting challenged this weekend. I mean, the guy we're facing tomorrow night, looked like Steve Carlton last week. So, we have to be on top of it, or it's the good news is once you kind of get through this, there's nothing when you go to postseason play we will have not seen. There's nothing we will have not seen. And when you put it in the context of offensive performance for an entire season and across the country, I still feel very good about it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it yesterday with Eads. The LSU offense has the potential. It's hard for me to sit back and dissect the potential versus what I've seen. And the potential of this LSU offense is the best in the country. They have the ability and the talent and the guys to be the best lineup in the country when you really break it down, really player by player in the lineup. I mean, when you think about each guy and the way they've played in certain spots, it really just comes down to stringing it all together. And they haven't done that yet. We talk a lot about LSU football. We say complementary football. That's something we've said a whole lot the last couple of seasons because they haven't done that. In 2023, that was the worst set of complementary football I've ever seen in my life, as the defense never even came close to complementing the offense. Right now, LSU needs to start playing some complementary baseball where the defense and the pitching has been excellent. The bats need to wake up and start helping them out. And then some of the other bats need to start helping out guys that have been consistent and have been doing it all season. And right now they haven't done that. So like I said, the potential for this lineup, best in the country. What we've seen, not really close to that. They have not played up really even close to that standard so far this season. And it's hard to expect them to just wake up and do it tonight, but you know that it can happen because it's baseball. They can just show up tonight and the bats are hot and they're swinging it well. But they have to do it at some point. At some point the switch has to flip. They have to turn it on if they really want to make a run they should be able to make. This should be an Omaha team. And I'm very confident that they'll make it there. Even if the offense doesn't fully get right, I have a good feeling about if they're a top 8 seed, taking care of business in a regional in Baton Rouge and a super regional in Alex Box. I have so much confidence in that because they've played better at home. And when you get into postseason baseball in Alex Box Stadium, there's just a little bit of magic that goes along with it. And so I'm confident in that. But once they get to Omaha, they've got to find that rhythm. And I would love to see that start right now, as they have one of the best teams in the country heading into Alex Box Stadium night in Arkansas. And I like the way Jay broke it down. I mean, the last three weekends, they've faced 3 teams that have been number 1 in the country. Now, LSU also has been number 1 in the country, but A&M was preseason number 1. They lost to them last week. Tennessee was number 1 for a considerable amount of time. They took care of business against them. And now Arkansas, who very well could have been number 1 coming into this week after sweeping Texas last weekend. So it's time for this offense to wake up. Absolutely has to happen, because that's the only way you're going to win this baseball game. Because when I look at some more numbers, Arkansas, I said LSU was number 2 in the SEC in batting average and hits. Arkansas is number 1. Arkansas is number 1 in the SEC with a .316 team batting average. They also lead the league in hits with 519 and runs with 454. Arkansas is 3rd in the league with 102 home runs. This is it's considered one of the best, if not the best, lineup in college baseball. And that's who LSU's got on the docket tonight. They've got to take care of business. You have to be able to match up with one of the best lineups in baseball. As good as your pitching is and can be tonight, you've got to be able to score runs. As much as it's going to be a pitcher's duel, runs are not going to be at the same premium they were last weekend, because this lineup is better than Texas A&M's. Arkansas is going to get runs across. Now, if Cade Anderson, my guy right here, goes out there and shoves and doesn't let that happen, hell yeah, I'd be fired up about it. But you can't go into the game expecting Cade Anderson to absolutely shut down the best lineup in college baseball for the whole time he's out there. You have to assume they're going to scratch runs across. Go take care of business when you're at the plate, and you'll be okay. I see a lot of discourse in the chat talking about South Carolina. That's LSU's matchup next week, and not to look ahead. But last night, I tell you what, I hurt for Paul a little bit last night as South Carolina loses to Auburn 24-2, and it was 24-1 in the bottom of the 5th. I put that out on social media last night because I was just kind of in awe of what I was looking at as South Carolina just got dismantled last night. I mean, it was 20-1, and then Auburn goes ahead and hits a grand slam over the wall, 24-1 in the bottom of the 5th, and South Carolina scratches one more run across, and that game was over in 7 as South Carolina went down tough. And a lot of the stuff on social media when I put that out was a lot of LSU people being like, well, Auburn's scoring 24 runs on them this week. LSU's going to win that game 2-1 on Friday next weekend. You can change that whole conversation if you go take care of business
35
tonight.
guys left on base.
Do what?
If LSU wins 2-1.
Yeah.
35 dudes left.
Yeah, no, it would be disgusting if that ended up being the case. So it like I said, the offense is what's going to win LSU the series this weekend. That's my perspective looking forward. When I'm looking at the series this weekend, my thought is offense is going to win it. You have to have offense to win it. Now, can Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson go out there and just be absolutely dominant like we've seen them do before? Yes, they can. You can't count on that every single weekend. I mean, you can't count on Anthony Ianson to do the same thing he did last weekend and go CG and just shove and shut everybody out and make it happen. You can't count on Cade Anderson to do the same thing consistently. Instead, you got to get these bats to wake up and make something happen. So it's going to be interesting to watch what it looks like, and hopefully they get to play tonight. The weather, obviously, keep an eye on it. We've already played the clip of Jay talking about kind of how they go about it. Run the clip of Jay talking about previewing Arkansas.
Okay.
That's what we'll kind of wrap it up with as Jay discusses the big-time matchup they've got this weekend.
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think when I think about Arkansas, a couple things come to mind. Number one, they recruit better than everybody else in college baseball. Like, hands down, explosive players, talent. To me, they're kind of the standard of that in recruiting. No matter who you end up with, you're always going to be in for a battle because they're always going to be able to match up. Number two, and I have a lot of respect for my peers in the league. With him, he's in his own way, he's one of the most competitive coaches that I know, and certainly respect that. I think he's hired really good assistant coaches. They have a really good home environment. And at the end of the day, it comes down to who's on the field. And they always play defense. The pitching staffs, whether it was Hagen Smith, we beat them in Frisco, and they had a guy named Blaine Knight at the time, right-handed pitcher who was really good. And I remember going like, wow, that's a pretty good win right there. We just beat Blaine Knight, Dave Van Horn, Tony Vitello was the third base coach, and Wes Johnson was the pitching coach. Little did I know 7 or 8 years ago, like all of that would be intertwined. But I remember feeling like, man, that's a great win right there. So just a lot of respect for the whole operation. Like, to me, like, again, they haven't won it the last game, but over 10 years, you'd have a hard time convincing me anybody's been.
Yeah, I mean, that's just Arkansas is one of the best in the country, year in, year out. And it's always been because of the arms that Jay was talking about. But now they've got the lineup to go along with it. They've got the arms, but they've got the best lineup in college baseball. So it's going to be big-time stuff tonight. Hopefully, as LSU and Arkansas get it kicked off, I guess not really kicked off, get it started. I'm just ready for football, my bad. This weekend, a top series of the weekend. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Biggest just had quite the situation in the chat. If I'm going to go by, I'm going to quote him. He says, P-Dub, he goes, here we go. He joins. He says, I'm going to clone, do not clone, do not clone. Oh, I'm going to clone. P-Dub says, do it. He says, P-Dub, I can't hold it. P-Dub, hold. Biggest bar the door. And then biggest bows and toes Christian. I'm puckering Sabrion. I'm gonna clones. Now I'm tingling. Lord have mercy. I tell you what, I love you guys. I don't think you can get that really anywhere else around here. That's good stuff. So it'll be fun. Ready to watch some baseball this weekend. Hopefully it gets started tonight. We'll keep an eye on that weather, like we said. On the football front, I saw, Christian, if you can get the document pulled up, I know it's not ready for you, so I'll give you a little bit of time. There was a ESPN put out their post-spring top 25, and it was quite the interesting selection of teams when you really sit back and look at the list in totality. Now, there are a couple things that stand out the first time you look at it, and obviously your first thought's going to be, where's LSU at? LSU was number 6 on this list, which I think is probably close to around where they'll be. Now, I think they'll probably be lower than that just because I don't know if they'll get that same respect to be ahead of teams like Oregon, like they are on this list. But the first thing that stands out is obviously Penn State at number 1. I don't understand that whatsoever. But
do they have a squad?
So big. I mean, they made the college football playoff last year. They made it to the Final Four in the college football playoff, but they beat SMU and Boise State and then lost the game to Notre Dame that they should have won, but their quarterback sold it. My belief is the reason they're number 1 is because they have Drew Aller at quarterback, but is he that good? I don't think so. Clemson at 2. I think Clemson's going to be a highly touted football team. They're very good. Their defensive line is stout. They've got a returning quarterback. They've got some talent on the back end of that defense as well. I think that they'll be pretty high. Georgia and Texas obviously always are going to be high. Ohio State, returning national champion, defending national champions, they're going to be in that top 5 as well. LSU in right there at 6, which I think is a great spot for them to be. And if they go based off of this, it would be Clemson versus LSU week 1, number 2 versus number 6. Now, I don't think Clemson will be number 2. I do think they'll be a top 5 team because, like I said, returning quarterback. And that, to me, is kind of what this list consists of more than anything. I think the reason LSU is 6 is because they have a returning quarterback. Penn State is 1 because of a returning quarterback. Clemson is 2 because of a returning quarterback. Texas is 3 because even though he's not experienced, they've got Arch coming back and his expectations are through the roof. Ohio State is 5 and not 1 because they don't have a returning quarterback. Notre Dame is 7 and not higher because they don't have a returning quarterback. Oregon is 8 and not higher because they don't have a returning quarterback. Now, I don't think Penn State should be number 1 whatsoever. If I had to say who I thought number 1 should be, it would probably be Georgia or Ohio State. To me, those are the 2 best rosters. Really, outside of LSU, I think LSU is in that conversation. But those are the 2 best rosters in the sport year in, year out. Those should be in contention for number 1 every single season. I don't think Penn State is there. But I do understand the thought process behind returning QBs. I just don't think you've seen Aller handle anything the way he should. Like, he's not what I think he's not the best quarterback in the country. He shouldn't be the number 1 quarterback in the country. James Franklin is the head coach. What have you seen from him? So I was surprised to see Penn State come in at number 1 on this list. But, I mean, I guess my discussion would be LSU at 6. I'm going to ask the chat, do you guys like that ranking? Is it too high? Is it too low? Is it just right? What are y'all thoughts on LSU at 6? Sabrion says nobody above LSU has a real starting quarterback coming back except Penn State, but he sucks. I agree. I mean, I think, Texas, I think Clemson obviously has a real quarterback coming back. Cade Klubnik is a very talented guy. I think Klubnik and Nussmeier are the 2 best quarterbacks returning when it just comes from experience standpoint. Like they both have a full season where they've got all the tools. I think Sellers is right there in that conversation as well as Lagway. I think Sellers, Klubnik, and Nussmeier are the 3 coming into this season. And South Carolina comes in at number 13 on that list. I'll talk about some more SEC teams. I'll just give you the full rundown. Oklahoma at 25, Ole Miss at 24, Texas A&M at 23, Florida at 19, South Carolina 13, Alabama 9, LSU 6, Georgia 4, Texas 3. So LSU comes in as the 3rd highest ranked SEC team out of what I believe is 9 in that top 25. Let's see what I would have them at 10, LSU at 10. Biggest, what are the odds that LSU does a 180? Our D is elite, but our offense is mid again. I do think the defense is going to be very much upgraded. So I don't know if I would say the defense is going to be elite. Now, I would love for them to be that, but I think they will be a very good defense. I think last year they were around the 50-something range of defenses. I think they should be in the 20s or higher. They should be the 23rd ranked defense in the country. Or bump it up even more, the 15th or 16th defense in the country. Now, I would love if they were a top 10 defense. That would be awesome, and I think they have the potential to do that. I'm just trying to temper my expectations a little bit about what that can really look like. But I do think right now the defense is ahead of the offense. So, Biggest, I don't think you're crazy for having that thought. I don't think the offense is going to be mid again. I do think that it will be considerably improved because of year 2 for Nuss. We've seen what can happen. Year 2 for Sloan. There should be growth. The addition of Alex Atkins, I think, is massive. The only thing that I'm truly concerned about offensively, and I've said it every single week, is the offensive line. That's what can really throw a wrench in all of the expectations, is you have a young, inexperienced offensive line. You've got 2 guys you transferred in that are from non-SEC conferences. Charles County matters. I live here in D.C., and Penn State has recruited well and will be there in the end. I agree. I think they have a very good roster. They've returned a lot. I would just be hard-pressed to consider them as the number 1 team in the country, but I think they're going to make the Final 12 because the Big Ten right now is kind of up for grabs. They have the potential to win it. If Aller comes back and he is what some people already say he is, then I could see them having that type of ranking. I just got to see it to believe it. And the teams that I've seen consistently do it at that level are at really 4 and 5. Those are the 2 teams I've seen year in, year out take care of business at the highest level. And, you want this to be a year-by-year basis, but preseason rankings, what are you truly basing it off of? Penn State's proved, like Sabrion says, every single season, they don't get the job done. Last year was their best season and they went on a run. They beat SMU and Boise State, and they had a chance to make it to the final, but they didn't. They Drew Aller threw an interception at the end of that game. So, Begas, I'm somewhat concerned about wide receiver. Need someone to step up. Love Aaron Anderson, but can he be a one? I actually got asked yesterday by Sean Fox at 97.7 Sports Talk up in North Louisiana. He asked me some LSU football questions. He was asking about the receiving core. And my thoughts on the LSU wide receiver room are they have a lot of talent and a lot of guys that do things differently. You know, you've got Barry and Brown and Chris Hilton, speedsters, Aaron Anderson, Xavion Thomas, who are your speedsters that can get shifty. You've got Nick Anderson, your big body receiver. They've got a lot of guys that can do different things and can find success. Who's going to be wide receiver one? I don't know. I think there's 3 guys right now in my mind that are going to be up for that spot. I think Nick Anderson is the guy that a lot of people are going to gravitate towards, as well as Aaron Anderson. I think Nick Anderson is a guy that has high expectations. When you sit back and think about this room, a lot of people are considering Nick Anderson to be that guy. Aaron Anderson was your leading receiver last season. Everyone's going to expect him to do that once again. To me, Chris Hilton is the third name. If he can stay healthy, there's no reason he should not be the biggest threat on this football team. There's no reason. Now, to me, the guy that's going to go under the radar, I guess, that's probably going to sneakily have one of the most productive seasons this year when it comes to catching the football is not a wide receiver. It's going to be Trey Green at tight end. That's what I told Sean Fox yesterday was, if it's a third down and Nussmeier needs to make it happen, he went to Mason Taylor a whole lot last season. I think that's going to stay the same, and he's going to build that bond with Trey Green. You saw it in the bowl game against Baylor where he went to Trey consistently. Wolfgang, Hilton has to stay healthy, and Nick Anderson the same thing. I agree. They've got to be healthy. If Hilton stays healthy, there's no reason he's not the biggest threat on this football team. Like, he's got all of the tools. I mean, an athletic freak. He's one of the fastest guys in the country. The only guys that are maybe faster than him are on the same team as him. And he has all the tools to be the guy. So it's going to be up to Joe Sloan, Garrett Nussmeier, and the rest of this offensive staff to make it happen for these receivers this year. We'll see what happens. But that's, to me, why LSU is number 6. They have a returning quarterback, and they've put together one of the best rosters in the sport over this offseason. They would be higher if they performed better last season and if it wasn't all brand-new guys. Because when you look at the defense, on the defensive end, it's probably going to be 2 new guys, at least one, when it comes to like who's going to be playing. I would say, I'll be conservative and say Relaford gets one of the spots. The other guy is going to be a transfer. Defensive tackle, I think one of them's I think Ahmad Bro's a starter, and either Gooden or Mitchell is going to be the other guy. So that's another transfer. Linebacker, all returners. Corner, I think, are both going to be transfers that are starting. At least one. Mansour Delane has one job locked up. It's going to be a new face on the other end, in my opinion, whether it's Pickett or Jakeem Jackson beating out Stamps. Now, Stamps has an opportunity, and that safety is going to be 2 brand new guys with Halsey and Cooley. So, I mean, it's a brand new defense, like all new faces. So, that's where I think the reason LSU's number 6 and not higher is because they have some struggle putting them higher than some of those names like Ohio State, Georgia, Texas. But I love the expectations LSU has going into the season. They deserve them because they've put together this roster that should compete with everyone out there. So, but it comes down to a few things. Can the defense mesh, which I think they will, because I think they've added a whole lot of leadership on that side of the football. Pyburn, Butler, who else? I mean, they already have Whit Weeks and Jacoby and Guillory, leaders. I think Halsey is going to be a leader. Mansour Delane, leader. They've added a lot of guys that are here, bought in, ready to win. I'm not really worried about the meshing there. Offensively, I have a little more concern than I do defensively. Is Nussmeier going to clean it up? I think so. I'm not really too concerned about that. Can Joe Sloan grow from year 1 to year 2? There should be concern there. He's got to prove it. And I'm hoping that he does. The offensive line, that's the one with the circle around it. Are they going to make it happen? Are they going to get the job done? Who are the best 5 going to be? Wide receiver. Are they growing with Nussmeier? Is there a chemistry and a bond building? That's going to be a concern. The run game, concern. They've got one of the most talented backs in the country, one of the most talented running back rooms in the country. When you look at just sheer talent of Caden Durham, Harlem Berry, JT Lindsey, and if Caleb Jackson can find his role and come on strong, a very talented running back room. But can they have a run game?
The wide receiver room's interesting.
What you got?
When you look at the wide receiver room, you don't have a true one right now. I think you might by fall, but I think you saw the creativity in spring with the jet sweeps, the 2 tight end sets, because they don't know their true one, and I think that could have been injury. Some guys not necessarily ready because if you remember, C.J. Daniels took a minute to get up to speed last year. So having that one is going to be important, but you could see some serious creativity if they don't have that designated one like they did last year in Kyron Lacey. And honestly, C.J. Daniels could have played it. You would love him this year, obviously. But C.J. Daniels could have been your one if you needed him to be.
And I think that's where Nick Anderson kind of slides in. That's the hope, is that he's going to be your one. But I think that's why they're all in on Trey Green. I think they have so much confidence in him and his ability and just the weapon that he is. I mean, when you think about it, he's a 6'7" power forward playing tight end. Go up and get the football.
He's going to help you. He's going to help you out a lot in the red zone when you need to be big and physical.
I agree. He should 1,000%. He, at the end of the season, if LSU wants success, should lead all receivers in touchdowns. There's no reason he shouldn't be your leading receiver when it comes to touchdowns. He's 6'7". Put it up there. Go get it. Like, it's not. You're a child. You know that? It should be easy. But we saw last year it really wasn't. So, LSU, number 6 on this ranking list. They're number 3 in the SEC. I think it's interesting. Obviously, a lot of stock put in returning quarterback. But the biggest thing is, when we talk about next season, you think about that first month of the season, you're facing, and this top 25 list, put it back up, Christian. When you look at that first month of LSU's season, their season opener against number 2 on this list, Clemson. And then they take, I think they play Louisiana Tech. And then they have number 19 on this list in Florida, who they will play in Death Valley. And then they have Ole Miss, number 24 on this list in week 5. And then after that,
I think their entire SEC schedule outside of Vanderbilt's ranked.
Yeah, and then after that, you go South Carolina, number 13. I mean, that first month of the season, you've got 3 teams on this top 25 list. And then right after that first month, you're starting with number 13. Wolfgang, does Nuss/coaching staff trust Green to execute in the clutch, TDs versus field goal in red zone? I think they trust him, and I think you saw that begin in the bowl game, and I think it's going to continue as the season goes on. There was a lot of discussion about Brian Thomas, and Glimmer kind of talks about it here in the chat. Trade is basically Brian Thomas when it comes to jump balls. BT3 was one of the best. Brian Thomas Jr., his sophomore season, there were very high expectations in 2022. And he didn't really crack. Like, Jeray Jenkins was your wide receiver 3 when you really thought that should have been Brian Thomas. And you saw the growth he had from that sophomore year to that junior season. I'm expecting Trey Dez, even though it's a year ahead, to have that same type of jump where Trey Dez Green should be a huge factor every single week. Should be dominant. He should be considered one of the best tight ends in the country next season when it comes to receiving the football. Now, how is he going to do inline blocking? We'll see. I think that's why you went out and got Bauer Sharp, and I think that's why you're going to have 2 tight end sets. But Trey Dez Green should be a dominant factor for LSU football. And they're going to need him early on. I mean, that week 1 matchup, the closer we get to the season, the more and more that builds up of Clemson and LSU, man. And now look, as much as we have some nerves probably sitting talking about that game, how LSU hasn't really won a season opener, and why are we scheduling Clemson? Clemson probably has somebody on the microphone sitting there saying, why are we playing LSU week 1? They're probably seeing what LSU's doing in the portal over the offseason with some concern of that's who we play week 1. Like, I'm not going to discount that. But what I'm going to say is LSU's got to show me they can win that week 1 game. I was in Vegas last year, man. I saw with my own 2 eyes. It was painful. I had to walk down the shoulder of the interstate back to the MGM.
Yeah.
Because the traffic was awful. Couldn't get an Uber. Had to walk all the way back. It was like a 3-mile walk. And I was getting harassed by USC fans driving back to their hotel. It was awful. Every time I think about that Clemson game, that's all I can think about.
I'll go back to your studio apartments in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's all I can think about is the pain I felt last year. I was hurting after that LSU versus USC loss in week 1. I'm hard-pressed to have a lot of confidence going into week 1, but I am confident. I'm still confident because they've put together one of the best rosters in the sport over the offseason. So
Fonz says, no, they are happy they're playing. They're happy they're playing us. They know we can't win week 1. Fonz, at some point that streak's gonna end.
I don't think that they're. If Clemson is happy they're playing LSU in week number 1, they're stupid. Like that, as much as LSU hasn't gotten it done.
Yeah, sure.
There is no way you can be excited about opening your season against LSU. I mean, couldn't they be confident that they're going to win the game? Yeah, they can have confidence. They're not excited they're playing LSU.
It could be 2020 LSU, and they still wouldn't be excited.
You're not going to be excited when you see LSU line up across from you. So I understand your thought process, Fonz, but they're not happy they're playing LSU. That's just there's no way. If they're happy they're playing LSU, they're stupid because it's still LSU, and LSU's put together one of the best rosters in the sport. Huey Cheek, I've watched and listened to this show since the beginning. It is sad that it is going away. Jordy did do a good job, and as much as it is going away, it's not really. Me and Lloyd are going to hold the rope, man. I'm telling you to ride it out with us, Huey. Go ahead, subscribe over to the Tingle & Co. YouTube channel and be ready because we're not going to let it fall and falter. Now, this channel, I don't know what's going to come of it. I don't know what's going to happen to it. It'll be out of my hands. My channel is now the Tingle & Co. YouTube channel, so make sure you're ready and subscribe over there. So, Huey, I'm telling you, ride it out with us, man. It is sad that this channel is going away. I agree. I've poured a lot of energy into this channel. But stick it out with us. I appreciate you, Huey. Wishing the best for Tingle & Co. Good luck. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support. And I forgot, somebody else asked a question earlier about the channel and things like that. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Somebody popped in and said something. I don't see it. But the link to the new channel is in there. We're going to take a quick break. Omar, bring Jordy back one more time before you leave the channel. Jordy's out of town pretty consistently, so I don't know if we'll be able to make that happen, but we'll see what we can do. We appreciate you guys. Like we said, make sure you're subscribing to Tingle & Co. on YouTube. I'll give y'all the sub count where we're at right now. The number went up pretty consistently yesterday. We're at 9,051 right now over on that channel. The link should be here in the chat. I did drop the link tree as well to make sure you guys are prepared to follow everything more than just the YouTube channel subscription. Make sure you're following all the social medias. The TikTok will be made soon. When does the new channel start? If you missed it the other day, the content's going out over there. Starting on right now. The content's already being made and put out on that channel. The show will be shifting over there June 1st. So the first week of June, we're going to finish out the month of May here on this channel. And then starting in June, we'll officially be over. June 2nd would actually be the first day. That's the first Monday of the month. Disrespectfully classy Mark E. Blassie. Wait. When is the show ending? WTF. The show is not ending. The Jordy Culotta Show channel is probably ending. I don't know what's going to happen to it, but it will be out of my hands at one point. The show will continue somewhere else. So me, Lloyd, Christian, and our team, everything that's come out consistently over the Culotta Show from a content perspective outside of Jordy himself, the social media and all the watch parties, all the extra stuff, including what the show has been the last couple of months, will all be continuing. It'll just be elsewhere. New branding, the new deal, it'll be somewhere else. So you see that link at the top of the chat, Mr. Disrespectfully Classy Mark E. Blassie. Click that, subscribe, and follow. Be ready. The show will continue. It'll just look a little different. It'll just be somewhere else. We appreciate you guys' support, obviously. And we'll take a quick break here. While we're in the break, if you're not subscribed and following Tingle & Co. already, go make that happen. We'll be right back after this.
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Well, the Oscar Andrews Sports Medicine Institute collaborative effort was an idea from Dr. Andrews and myself to bring together two great names, the Andrews name and the Ochsner name, to elevate the quality of care for athletes in the state of Louisiana, where he's from.
I always thought I would come back to Louisiana and practice orthopedics with my subspecialty being sports medicine. This was an opportunity through Ochsner's to come back and work the entire state to help develop and take sports medicine to a new level.
As an orthopedic surgeon, what this means in the future in terms of, access for our community to the type of care that Dr. Andrews pioneered, words can't describe how valuable that is.
Ochsner has a great opportunity here to really grow, and Dr. Burnham, of course, is the mainstay of making that happen. If you want to have first-class sports medicine care, check in with Dr. Burnham and his group, and you'll be more than impressed and pleased.
48 Insurance Agency, established in 1946, helping you with your home, auto, commercial, life and health insurance needs. Around in Baton Rouge at 4275 Government Street and online at 48agency.com. Whatever insurance you're in the market for, home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health, get in touch with 48 Insurance Agency, 48agency.com, or give them a call at 225-383-0682. 48 Agency.
Get Gordon. And get it done, yeah. Everybody know Gordon in a 225. He done leave with big foe. He got buku ties, Ferrari sliding, flying in a new coupe ride. And every time I ride by, I see a brand new sign. I'm a Gordon, I know that he gon' get it done. Whether it's a big truck crash or a hit and run, recovery funds, he fighting to get a ton. Mike Epps, man, we all about the Benjamin. Handling injuries, man, are you kidding me? Gordon McKernan, that's champion energy, yeah. family man with a family plan. Get Gordon, he gon' fix it like a handyman. Gordon, and get it done.
It's the Jordy Culotta Show. Come have a good time, yeah.
Trifecta Sports Therapy in Baton Rouge. Recover, repair, restore. At Trifecta, they believe in total body wellness. Trifecta gets the body back to its full potential.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification. We about to go.
Lead an active lifestyle or a senior citizen. Trifecta has the class, the sports massage, the sports therapist, the stretch therapist, or the equipment like infrared sauna, cold plunges, and golf simulators to find your best. Find Trifecta online at trifectasportstherapy.com or check out the beautiful facility today, 8221 Goodwood. Trifecta Sports Therapy.
Hey, Tiger fans, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit us, Tom and Wright Granning, at Go Mart on the Go Deli.
Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip.
Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on your left.
Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff,
where everyone is family.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
All right, we are back here. I'm sorry to say it'll probably be a quick show this morning. Christian's got to get ready for that Spanish test.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys. It's been a ragtag Friday show as we've just kind of thrown it together this morning. A little bit of Jay Johnson clips, a little bit of football talk. We're going to close it out with a little activity here as Christian's getting it set up and ready. As we're going to I'm going to make a commitment and a promise to you guys that if I absolutely fail what we're about to do, I will not complain about umpires tonight. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull up this little type of this game where we call balls or strikes. And if I absolutely fumble and fail, I can't complain about what goes on for LSU baseball this weekend. If I'm not able to do it myself, why would I diss the guys that are getting paid to do it? But like we said, LSU baseball this weekend, hopefully weather willing, we'll get started tonight. I really have no idea what it's going to look like. I'm hoping we get to see some baseball this evening. I appreciate all you guys in the chat having a good time. Linda, I appreciate your support. Randy, always supporting. And Huey Cheek, the show is just different. It is youthful, and that's fine, but it is different. I wish them success. We appreciate you, Huey. And we know it's different, but we hope that you stick it out with us because we're going to try and make it as encapsulating for everybody's entertainment as we move forward. We've got a lot of fun stuff down the line, you guys, that we're going to try and make happen. Don't forget, we've had a week without Lloyd, without our friend and my co-host, partner in crime, some may say. He will be back from London tomorrow, and he will be back here on the show on Monday as Christian heads out. So Lloyd will be back. I know y'all have missed him dearly. I do want to give Christian a hand clap, though, because he's done a good job this week stepping up and making things happen, both for us and for Mic'd Up from 6 to 8 on Wednesday, and then from 1 to 3 today, I believe. So we appreciate all you guys supporting, y'all hanging out with us. Are you good to go over there, or is it not happening?
It's not popping up.
Okay, that's all right.
It's asking me to sign in, and oh gosh, yeah, it's a nightmare over here.
It's all right. Just do the athletic connection. Yeah. Let's get that thing rolling. We're not gonna be able to call balls and strikes today.
We'll get to figure out for the next
show.
show.
We'll see what depending what happens this weekend, how much they're complaining there is about umpires, we might do it Monday morning.
I'm sure Lloyd could figure it out.
Lloyd should be able to figure it out. He's much smarter than you. So.
Yes.
But we'll do the athletic connection real quick here. Then we'll close it out. We'll be out early so Christian can go take that exam. Everybody give Christian a hand clap in the chat as he's done an excellent job this week helping us out and taking care of business while Lloyd was out. But, yeah, I appreciate all the discussion in the chat. Make sure, like we said, we'll be ready and moving in June as the Tingle & Co. podcast / show, whatever you want to call it. We'll be ready to go, ready to roll. So, Andrew Messina, what happened to Iverstein's Butcher? We might get Iverstein's back. We've got a good relationship with there. Yeah,
there
2 claps for Christian. 2 claps ready. There you go, Christian. You're not supposed to clap for yourself, but I'll let you do it this time.
We were doing that last show.
You clap for yourself?
Well, yeah, I was just trying to get the timing down.
Yeah,
early.
you're almost there.
Yeah.
2 claps ready. There it is. Good job, Christian.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do this athletic connection. Let's knock it out. All right. Let's see. Under Armour. Starter.
Russell.
I've got one more. Champion. Yeah.
What kind of brands are those? Oh, just athletic clothing. Okay. Alcaraz, tennis player.
Yep. Who else is a tennis player? Sinner is a tennis player.
Vizina. Fritz. Long. Calder. I don't know tennis players. Somebody in the chat knows tennis.
Those are 2 of the best. That's why I know. Carlos Alcaraz is younger than me. I think Sinner might be too. They're both pretty young.
Alcaraz, younger than you?
Yep. Let's see. I'm pretty sure he's probably 22 years old. Carlos Alcaraz.
Yes, sir. He is. Wow.
Yep. There you
I
go.
thought he'd been good for like 5 years now.
All right. Let's see.
Hart and Calder.
Just try it. See what we got. Nope. All right. Erase those. Let's go set up. Take away those 2 names too. Closer, middle, long. Yep.
Okay.
And then we've got, let's see, P-Dub says Fritz and Rune. So go Fritz, Rune, Sinner, Alcaraz.
There we go.
Close it out. I don't know what these are, though.
No idea.
About to find out.
NHL awards. Okay.
All right. Not too bad. Wasn't our best performance, but
maybe we'll learn that if New Orleans gets an NHL team.
Maybe so. So, appreciate you guys. I know this is a quick one this morning, but it's been a good last couple of weeks. Obviously, a really good week this week as we're getting the ball rolling for some fun stuff. When Christian returns during football season next year, he might be the full-time producer. I mean, we might be making this thing happen here. I wish you were sticking around the summer. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
If this is your last day, Christian, thank you for all your work this week and everything you've done. We'll be ready to have you back in August. Everyone tell Christian you love him.
I think next summer is the full-time role.
Yeah.
Like staying here.
Sticking around?
I think next summer I'll be in Baton Rouge.
There we go. We'll see what we can do. We've got a lot of stuff that we're really excited about this summer and into football season. Football season this next year should be really exciting. So, Wolfgang, am I going to the game tonight? I do not currently have tickets. I held off on buying some because of the weather. We'll see what happens. But if I do make it out to games this weekend, I think I had tomorrow circled to try and get out there tomorrow. So if y'all are going to be out there, find me. You know, let's chop it up. We'd love to see you guys. We'll be back on Monday. It'll be me and Lloyd as Christian probably heads out to begin his summer here as he's wrapping up his, sophomore year of college today?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, year 2 down.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if he's able to pass that exam today. So,
I think I can fail it and
still be good.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, well, we'll be back. We'll be back on Monday, me and Lloyd, as he recaps his London trip. Don't forget, go subscribe and follow all the Tingle & Co. channels. We'll be ready to go on June 2nd. Love y'all.
can never put on the same shoes. I've been giving L's like I know love and I can't lose. For myself, man, I can't lose. For my family, man, I can't lose. I grind hard and I can't lose. I'm stacking days, man, I can't lose. Big stepper, we can never put on the same shoes. I've been giving L's like I know love and I can't lose. For myself, man, I can't lose. For my family, man, I can't lose. I grind hard, man, I can't lose. I'm stacking days, man, I can't lose. Business is business, yeah. I grind for the check. Line up with me, you gon' see how different when I step up on the opponent's necks. Line up with me, you gon' see how different how I'm earning all of my respect. Line up with me, you gon' see how different how I run the game, but don't stretch. My hitters stay with me. Give them nothing, we putting up 60. We got power, you better call 50. Better chill like I reached like Wimby. It's not rocket science, shit you gotta know. We put them down like some dominoes. Wake up early, put the time in. Now I'm watching a lot of shows. Trying to send help when I come around, dog, it ain't working. Trying to just play and trying to stop me, dog, it ain't working. I handle business while your lames chirping. Who on my level, man, I'm still searching. I'm in their heads like a neurosurgeon. I'm everywhere like I'm Harold Perkins. Let's see, step, but we can never put on the same shoes.